What is going on, Internet? This is JD coming at you with another video from Redskins Rant. Hail to the Redskins. This one's not really about the Washington Redskins per se. I'm just going to do some predictions on division winners and things like that. So, before I get started, like, share, and subscribe, and also hit me up on Twitter, Redskins Ranter. We are like 3 days away from our first game. I'm so excited. Next, I'm excited about tonight because football is just back on. Super excited. I also shaved my beard, so. Hopefully I'm not going to shave it. Hopefully we have a good season. I usually shave it right before the season begins, so we'll see. My sleeves up because it is hot as hell in here. That's why I have the window open. I will close if I think it's too loud. I'm just going to close it now. I'll turn the air conditioning up a little bit. All right. Okay, so without further ado, my predictions for all the divisions. Let's start West. We'll go AFC first. AFC West comprises of the Chiefs, the Denver Broncos, the San Diego Chargers, and the Oakland Raiders. I think this division is pretty much well in hand. The Chiefs are going to win this division. They're going to win it pretty handily. They are the better team. They're the best team in that division by far. If I can just seat up a little bit. They are the best team in this division by far. I think the second best team in this division is the Chargers. The acquisition of Sean McCoy just adds more depth to the offense that already has so many weapons, and they're so fast. Travis Kelce is one of the best tight ends in the league. I just don't see how other teams are going to match that. There's some good defenses in that division. The Chargers and the Broncos have pretty solid defenses, but I don't think the only ones that could actually contend for the division really is the Chargers. Those are the only ones that can actually contend for the division because they have the defense that can possibly keep Patrick Mahomes and the offense in check. Do this. Okay. So they have the defense that can keep the offense in check. They can actually score some points, and the Chiefs don't exactly have the greatest offense. So that's my prediction for that division. I think the Raiders will end up, or Broncos. There's so many unknowns about the Raiders. So the Raiders aren't actually, I don't think they're going to be a bad team. They have a lot of talent. There's just so many unknowns. They've drafted a lot of decent players. They've signed decent players. They had added Antonio Brown. They still have Derek Carr, who's a good quarterback. Question is, Jay Gruden get this team to be better? That's really the question. So I guess we'll find out. So that one's really the unknown. I think we know what the Broncos are. They have a quarterback that can hit the deep ball, but he's not going to like pick you apart. They're going to have a strong defense. They're going to have a solid running game, but they're not going to be super flashy or anything like that. They're going to grind you out, just like the Ravens were with Flacco, and then obviously the Chargers. Chargers are hit or miss because they have a lot of talent, but then sometimes they just have you do good and then they do bad, and they do good and then they do bad. So they can go either way this year, but I think they'll finish second in the division. They'll actually get a wild card in the AFC. And if AFC South, which consists of the AFC South consists of the Titans, the Colts, the Jacksonville Jaguars, and one other team who go on a blank on that other team. Texans, sorry. I think Texans will win this division. The Titans have been kind of trending up, but I just think the Texans got too much going on. They still have Hopkins. They still have their quarterback. They got their offensive line better. They have a really good defense. And I just think it's their year, and they're going to win the division. It was the Colts' year until they got rid of Andrew Luck. So, I mean, they could still win it. I mean, they're a solid team all around. Good offensive line. Jacoby Brissett is not a scrub. He's probably the best backup you could have on your team. If you're going to have a quarterback who's randomly retire, he has a lot of experience. He was drafted by the Patriots. And the coach, Frank Wright, is actually a pretty good offensive mind, so he'll build the offense around him. They have a solid running game. Jacksonville is the wild card for me because we don't know how Nick Foles is going to be not being on the team he's been on the last 3 years. He's actually a really good quarterback, I think. I mean, his first year in Philly before he got traded or got let go and went to the Rams, or he might have got traded to the Rams. I don't remember. It's one or the other. With the Rams, he was like 29 touchdowns and 2 interceptions or something like that. So I think he's a pretty good quarterback, and I think adding them to that team is just going to solidify some of their things. It's just, there's question marks. What's his name? Leonard Fournette is never consistently healthy. So if my camera goes off, I'm trying to focus on driving and not killing myself. But I want to get this done because I have to work until 9, and then I'll have there's a game already being played by the time I get home, so I can't do this later. This is why I'm doing this video now. So I think Texans will win the division. The Jacksonville is the wild card because there's just a lot of unknowns. You don't know if Fournette's healthy. You don't know how Nick Foles will do in that offense. For all we know, he's going to suck. And if the defense gets back to form, then you got a team that can totally contend. So there are 4 legit teams that can win this division. This is not an easy division to win. It's not an easy division to call. There's literally, you can make a reason for every team here. One of the best running attacks, one of the best defenses on the Titans. You have a solid overall team. You just have the controversy about losing a quarterback right before the game or before the season with him retiring. So there's a lot of things that you can like point to as for any team as to what they can, why they can win, and also why they can't win. AFC East. This is the easy one. Patriots. They'll win it. I think the Dolphins will end up being the worst team in the league this year, next to the Bengals. Them and the Bengals, I think they're going to be the 2 worst teams. And Patriots win it. I think the Bills and the Jets are taking steps in the right direction. I think they both have good young quarterbacks, and they're trending in the right direction. I just don't think it's there yet. Until Tom Brady retires, he will consistently win that division. Unless the ceiling the floor just falls out from beneath everyone and everyone gets injured, and it's just not enough talent to recover, and coaching can't mask all the loss of talent that the Patriots have to deal with. Until that happens, I don't see the other teams actually jumping over the Patriots. I mean, it's only happened like I think twice in the whole time Bill Belichick's been there. He hasn't won a division. So that's AFC East and AFC North. I think the Browns are going to win this division. A lot of people think the Browns are going to that are just going to do like 9-7 and be a wild card. And this is where it's hard to pick. It's a very hard decision to make in the AFC. AFC's got actually a decent amount of teams that are talented. The AFC South, for example, is very talented. The AFC North is very talented. They have 3 legit teams that can make the playoffs and win the division. But I think the Browns will do it. I think they have the most explosive offense. I think they have the best defense. There's less you know about the Browns than any other team. And I think that's dangerous for NFL teams. It's dangerous because you don't know how to prepare for it. Steelers are the Steelers, but I think they take steps back. I live in Pittsburgh, so this is like every time I talk to a Steeler fan, they hate it when I say it. But Steelers are going to take steps back this year. It's going to happen. You don't have Antonio Brown drawing double teams for Juju Smith-Schuster to do one-on-one. And Antonio Brown still got like 1,500 yards last year, being double teamed almost every possession. It's you can't have that kind of a shift from the defense, and the defense has to play back a lot to cover that or to help with that double team. So, and that opened up the running game for James Conner. So, I don't think the Steelers are going to be that good this year. I think they'll be okay because Ben has always been an overrated quarterback to me, but he's still a talented enough quarterback that like, most teams would prefer to have Ben over what they have. And I think Connor's a good enough running back. He can do the job, but the problem is you lost your best offensive weapon who drew a lot of attention. And I think the offense isn't going to be able to compensate for that. There are some good 1s and 2s and 3s that you can, kind of play and make up for him a little bit, but you can't make up for like 10 touchdowns and 1,500 yards receiving and all the double teams he draws. You can't make up for that. I don't know how anyone thinks that you can just throw another player in and make up for that. Maybe Pittsburgh's that good. It's going to be possible. But I just don't see that happening. And the Ravens, no offense to Lamar Jackson, he's a good guy. I just don't think he's that good a quarterback. I think he's good at running, and I think he's got a decent arm. He's not a conventional quarterback. Now, maybe that's just not, maybe the NFL is trending away from that. It's possible. I just don't see him being as good as he is advertised as. I think the Baltimore Ravens are putting all their eggs in that basket, and there's a reason why they're keeping 2 quarterbacks on the roster behind him. RG3 can sling it a lot better than Jackson can. Now, running's a different story because he can get injured. And Trace McSorley can definitely sling it a lot better than Jackson can, and he looks like he's more durable. He's a little bit thicker than Jackson. So we'll see. But I have the Browns winning, and maybe the AFC South and AFC North, one of the wild cards will come out of that, and the other wild card will be the San Diego Chargers. Okay, so NFC West will go first. NFC West consists of the Seattle Seahawks, the 49ers, the Arizona Cardinals, and one more team. Which one's that? Lost for words here. Oh, Rams. I'm sorry, Rams. I see the Rams winning this division. I don't think the Rams are better than they were last year. I think they actually got worse. They lost some players. They lost some depth on the defensive line because it cost so much to keep everyone. So I think their defense will be worse, but I think their offense will be just as good. There's a lot of questions around Todd Gurley. Is he healthy? But I think that their coach is good enough to compensate for those things, and they'll win their division. I will say this is one of the tougher divisions this year to win. Literally, the Seattle Seahawks are always in a place of like winning a division and wild card. They're that good. They're rebuilding that defense. Russell Wilson's an MVP candidate every year. He's got some pretty good talent around him. So I think Jadeveon Clowney plays there now too. So there's a lot of talent on that team, and they're gonna look to make a push. They got that Super Bowl. They lost one. They've been trying to get back ever since. They had to rebuild the team to do it, and while they did it, they didn't like tank seasons to do it. They rebuilt their team while they're still, kind of a 500 team, so to speak. 49ers, a lot of questions around Jimmy Garoppolo. Is he the guy? The injury set him back a year or two. There's a lot of questions about it. Now we don't know any answers. He's got talent. He's got a good running back. He's got a good, solid defense. He's got a really good tight end. The question is Jimmy Garoppolo the answer? We'll find out. I think he's going to take a step back this year. I don't think he's like a bust or anything. I think he'll take a step back this year, and next year will be the year that he kind of ascends. Because you got to get back, you got to get used to playing on that leg. And he looked a little gun shy in preseason. So, and then obviously the Arizona. I think Arizona will be down there with the bottom three in the league. I think Kyler Murray will be exciting, but they don't have a defense. They don't have an offensive line. They don't have a lot of good things on that team, and I just don't know what you're going to do. Your quarterback can't sling the ball every play. It's the NFL. They tried this fun and gun offense with the Redskins with Steve Spurrier. It didn't work. You can argue we didn't have a quarterback to do it. That's a good argument. I can't dispute that. We didn't have the greatest quarterback to do the offense at all. That's possible. But in every sense of the word, it's just that kind of offense just does not work extremely well in the NFL. At least it hasn't worked yet, so maybe they're the outlier. I do think Kyler Murray's going to have a good rookie season. He might win Rookie of the Year. I just don't see them winning that many games. We'll see. But I think they'll end up last, and I think the Rams will win the division with the Seahawks closely behind. So that's out of the way. What's the NFC South? So this is Atlanta, Saints, Panthers, and the Buccaneers. I think the Buccaneers will end up in last. I think the Panthers, to me, Cam Newton is way overrated. He can't complete over 60% of his passes. He's entirely overrated for what a quarterback has to do in this day and age. He's not overrated in fantasy. Like in fantasy, he gets rushing yards, he gets rushing touchdowns. So he makes up for that in fantasy, but that's not the point. His goal is not to be a good fantasy quarterback. His goal is to be a good quarterback. And the only reason he won MVP a few years ago was because his team was 15-1 with one of the best defense, the second best defense in the league. And I honestly that year, Cam had a good year. I'm not taking that away from him. I still don't see how he was MVP. There are quarterbacks with way more yards, way more rushing yards, way more touchdowns, better completion percentage, and it's basically the MVP is the best player on the team with one of the best records. It's basically what it comes down, or the quarterback on the team with the best records is pretty much what it feels like the MVP is anymore. But I don't think they'll do well. So the division is going to come down to the Saints and the Falcons, and for some reason I think the Falcons are going to win the division this year. It's going to be like a close one between them and the Saints. I think Drew Brees, although he's good, he's regressing. I saw it a little bit last year. And not to mention, it takes an emotional toll on you whenever you lose a game like they did last year when the referee screwed them over. So I think the Falcons win with the Saints nipping closely behind. I don't think the Panthers or the Buccaneers are in any kind of contention for that division. I really don't. They might surprise me. Bruce Arians is a hell of a coach. He might get Jameis Winston right, and Jameis Winston can throw the football. He can sling it. And Cam Newton, they got talent around him. I'm not gonna lie, they got some good talent around him. So it's definitely possible. I'm not sure. Okay. It's definitely possible to do. NFC North, which is the Eagles, the Bears, the Lions, and the Packers. I'm sorry, Eagles, yeah. The Vikings, the Bears, the Lions, and the Packers. This division is a tough one. There's literally 3 teams in this division that can win it. I don't think the Bears are going to repeat. I think they're actually going to regress a step. Now that there's more film on Mitch Trubisky and how that their offense is going to run through him and how he's going to be running the offense, they don't really have any great receivers. Their defense is still stout, but that's not going to be enough to win you a bunch of games. We'll see. It might be enough. So my prediction on this, I think Green Bay is going to bounce back and win the division this year. New offense, getting the ball out quicker. A lot of people think that Aaron Rodgers had a down year last year. You realize he had like 27 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. That's a down year for Aaron Rodgers. His touchdown-interception ratio is incredible. Anyone who doesn't understand how great Aaron Rodgers is, go look at his touch. It's like 4-1. 4 touchdowns, 1 interception. That's his average. The next closest one in NFL history, there's 2 next to that. There's Romo and Tom Brady. I think Tom Brady's like 3.1 and Romo's is like 2.8. That's the best touchdown-to-interception ratio of any quarterback in the history of the NFL. And then behind them is Peyton Manning. So he's a really good quarterback. And the fact that everyone was like, oh, he's a you can't get along with this coach. Listen, if someone's throwing 29 or 27, I think it was 29, honestly. So I think he was 1 shy of 30. If someone's throwing 30 touchdowns to 2 interceptions, and they're telling you, listen, if we do these things, I could be better, why don't you fucking listen to the guy? That guy's very talented. He's one of the best quarterbacks this league's ever seen, and the coaches just don't want to listen to him. The franchises won't. He was in the wrong franchise. If he was in any other franchise, they'd have taken care of him. They'd have got him the coach that he needs. They'd have got him the things that he needed to be more successful. For years, they put it all on him to do it all. And it's probably ruined one of the best careers. He might win one more Super Bowl if he's lucky, but I don't think the franchises, because it's publicly run, they don't have anyone to make the proper decisions to sorry, I got a frog in my throat. Make the right decisions. Vikings, I think the Vikings only make the playoffs this year. You can say it's because you don't like Kirk. You know what? You're not wrong. Kirk, he went to a team last year that was like, 13-3? Or 13-3 or 12-4. And they regressed down to like 8-8. Healthy all year. The whole team was healthy. Yeah, his offensive line was good, but at least they were healthy. And he won one more game than the Washington Redskins, and we had every injury happen possible. Absolutely, the Washington Redskins were bad because of Kirk Cousins. In fact, our coach had to outcoach, had to coach the team up to be competitive. And I saw. Let me finish this prediction real quick, and I'll go on some bullshit. I'm going to go on a rant, and I'm going to open this up for people to see this. I really want to hear people's response to this shit. And I want to hear a legit argument. So I'll get to that here in a minute. And obviously our division. Now, if I'm talking with my heart, I think the Redskins can win this year. I really do. I think we get through the first 5 games and win 2 out of 3. I think we're in great shape because if we can win the next 8, but if we win 6 out of those 8, we're 8-5. And I think we just win 2 of the last 3. We can end up being 10-6, and I think we can. That probably won't win us the division, to be honest. But I think we can do that. And if we can win 3 out of the first 5, I think we'll surprise people. People are writing us off as not being a good team. And I think our defense is a lot better than people are giving it credit for. And we really haven't seen much of the offense, so I can't judge that fairly. All I can do is judge what I've seen. Geis looks like it's the real deal. I think Case Keenum will sling the ball a little bit. If we get Vikings Case Keenum, we're going to be set. We have good young talent. We have our tight ends back and healthy. Our offensive line doesn't look horrible, but it looks really good to be able to be run blocking. And, aside from the Trent Williams distractions, I think our team looks like it's going to be pretty decent. I honestly do. So, but if I'm talking if I had to put money on it, if my life is on the line, who am I picking to win the division? I would have to pick the Dallas Cowboys. Okay, if you think about it this way, the Dallas Cowboys, the best recipe for success in the NFL is you get a good quarterback on a cheap contract, which is what they have with Dak Prescott. You have a good offensive line, which they have. You have a pretty solid defense, which is also what they have. So they have all these things like combined, and it's just the perfect storm because it's before Dak gets. Because once you pay Dak, you got to cut guys to pay him. You can't afford your good defensive linemen. You can't afford your good corners. You can't afford your good linebackers. You can't afford these guys once they get off rookie deals. They have good talent. Don't get me wrong. They have great talent. But you got to pay your big players. Amari Cooper's going to get paid. So you have an elite running back, receiver. I wouldn't say Amari Cooper's a receiver. And a good quarterback. And Dak Prescott's not elite by any chance. He's a good quarterback, but he's not elite. So if I had to pick, that one right there is the best formula to win now. And they literally have like 1 year before they can do it. And the fact that the amount of money Ezekiel Elliott just got paid, I mean, I don't understand that one. I really don't. You paid him that much money, guaranteed, and the guy can't keep himself out of trouble any year. He's always in trouble. He's always in trouble, and that's just what we know about. Imagine what's leaking, what they're not showing us. I don't get that one at all. So I think the Redskins will win. I think the Eagles are a good team. Here's the problem I have with the Eagles. One, Carson Wentz has not proven at all that he can stay healthy. He has not proven at all that he can stay healthy and play a full season. Has he proven to be good? Sure, he has. But he's also proven that he hangs on the football too long, gets himself hit, and gets himself injured. And then he's not able to play at all. And in the past, that was okay because they had Nick Foles. They had, even Nate Sudfeld was a decent backup for them. Now they have, Josh McCown? I don't see that as a viable option. And they have no, the guy. There's no the guy running back. They have, Howard maybe? But he's not, he's he's a one-style runner. They don't have, a Saquon. They don't have an Ezekiel Elliott. I think Geis is our Saquon or Ezekiel Elliott. I think he's like that. We'll find out this year. I mean, there's a lot of, like I said, there's a lot of things up in the air about the Redskins. But, and also, their secondaries, they only have 4 corners. If you go 5 wide receivers with them, you're not going to be able to cover everything. And their corners are probably the weakest part of their defense. Their defensive line's good. Fletcher Cox is great. And they have good defensive linemen, but the back end of their defense is not very good. So if you can find a way to neutralize the defensive line, you're going to find a way to pick apart that defense. And that's where I think they're going to have problems. And they're not going to be able to run to maintain the clock, so they have to throw a lot. And then you put Carson Wentz back there, and he doesn't really have an elite number 1 receiver other than Zach Ertz. And I think that's where we're at. Oh, that's a yellow punch buggy. I wish someone was here to punch. So I think that's where you're at right now. I think that's where the Eagles are at. They have a lot of talent. Don't get me wrong. They have a lot of decent receivers where you can spread the talent around, and there's not one guy you can lock on and take him away and take away and then you have to, match up with the rest. There's a lot of equal talent dispersion on this team. The problem is, you don't have the guy you're going to go to. You don't have a go-to guy. And I think Carson Wentz is going to need that. But that's why I predicted I think the Redskins are going to have, it's not going to be like a blowout. I don't think we're going to get blown out in the first game. But the Redskins are going to have the ability to actually, put a good game on the field against the Eagles. So in my heart, I think the Redskins can win the division. If I had to put money on it, and my life was on the line, I'd say Dallas. And I explain the reasons. And I don't like saying that, trust me. I do not like saying Dallas Cowboys win a Super Bowl. Okay? I do not like saying that one bit. I live in, the only benefit to me that I would see of Dallas winning the Super Bowl is I can stop hearing the Steeler fans keep bragging about having 6 Super Bowls, because there'll be another team that has 6 Super Bowls now. That's the only benefit I see. So, that being said, now here's what I wanted to talk about. I was on a topic, and I was on a Facebook group, and someone was going on about how Jay Gruden needs fired. Listen, I'm going to throw this out there. Jay Gruden has been doing a fantastic job coaching the Redskins. Go look at our records on our past coaches. Okay, look before Jay Gruden. Shanahan had 1 good season, and that was RG3's rookie year. And RG3 was the reason we were good that year, not Mike Shanahan. Okay, RG3 was the reason we were good that year. We were 10-6 that year. Every other year with Mike Shanahan, we were like a 3 or 4 win team. Okay, look before that. Jim Zorn had 1 8-8 season, and I think he had 1 season after that where he wasn't very good. Joe Gibbs had 2 good seasons where one he was 10-6 and one he was 8-8. So we had 2 good seasons. That's our last playoff win was with Joe Gibbs. I'm switching hands because my left hand is, or right hand's kind of tired. So yeah, and if you go back further than that, Norv Turner wasn't, well, actually, if you go way back before, I think before Joe Gibbs, when we had Marty Schottenheimer, I think we might have had Marty Schottenheimer for a little bit. Marty Schottenheimer actually, I think, was the best coach we had. We just got rid of him too early. He's kind of a prick, so I don't think players like playing for him. But he got 8-8, and we were like 2-6 to start the season. He won like 6 of our last 8 games and got us an 8-8 season, and then he got fired in that 1 year. And he like really, I think it was the best coach we had. He gets fired abruptly from places, and I think we ruined that opportunity to have a really solid coach. And then one other coach we had, who was before that? Oh yeah, Steve Spurrier. Steve Spurrier, God, so go look back through all of our records, and none of the coaches were consistently putting up like 500 seasons or higher. Now I get that 500 shouldn't be our goal, but I think that's the direction we need to go. And if you look at the circumstances, last year. With all the injuries he had, if you look at the money, he lost about 45% of his salary cap. He was down to like 60 or 55% of his salary cap usage by the end of the year. He only like, you can't win in the NFL without talent. This is why Chip Kelly fizzled out of the NFL so fast. It's because in the NFL you cannot win without talent. And he tried thinking that that you can win with a system that's good, but you can't. You have to win with talent in the NFL. That's the only way to win in the NFL. People can try to argue that point if you want. You have to win with talent. Now the Patriots win with talent because they know how to utilize talent better than anyone else. So that's the only argument I'll take, is the Patriots have proven that's not the case. Well, you have a decent point there, but Chip Kelly has tried to prove that his system could trump talent, and he got rid of all the talented guys and brought in system guys, and he failed. Okay? You can't do that in the NFL. And in the NFL, and Jay Gruden lost. Let's go down the list of what he had last year. Last year he was down to his 4th string quarterback after Alex Smith broke his leg, Colt McCoy broke his leg, and Mark Sanchez just sucked dick. He was just so bad, had to get rid of him. Okay? You had that. That was the first thing. The second thing is running backs. He got down to, Jesus Christ. He got down to his 2nd string running back, and then his 2nd string running back was actually out for 5 games. So then he was down to his 4th string running back. So that's where the Redskins were at last year. So no, we had a 3rd string running back. Now look at our offensive line. We got down to our 2nd and 3rd string offensive linemen. We had to sign guys off the street to compete in games. And then receivers, we didn't have any consistent receiver play the entire year last year. Okay, the most consistent one, I can't even name a consistent receiver. Maybe Crowder, but he didn't have a good year at all. So, there's a lot of like scenarios where you can kind of look at him like, maybe if we had this or whatever. No, that's not the case. We had a lot of things injured, and Jordan Reed was out 5 games, and Vernon Davis was out 5 games. So we didn't have any consistent play from anyone, and our coach that everyone wants to fire still went 7-9. No other coach will succeed in that environment. But he's still got us a respectable 500, which, not like I said, not a lot of coaches can do that. I've been getting us at that point, I should say. And I got to turn here. So I don't understand why everyone's so dick hard to get rid of him. I understand we don't want to be 500. We want to have higher standards than that. But I get that. We want to have higher standards, but you also got to be smart and be, oh my God, why is this going on today? All right. Well, we got to be smarter than that as a fan base. All right. So I got to go a weird way to work now. Thanks. So whoever wrecked on the bridge. Sure. All right. Well, that's the end of my video. Thanks for watching. Like, share, and subscribe. Have a good one.